Alright, folks. Welcome back to Less Magic, More Gathering.
Yeah.
We got this sweet new full table playmat. You're not going to get to see the whole thing today.
Just a portion of it.
Because that would ruin the surprise for later. But
yeah,
we picked this up at one of the local game stores for $40. Sweet deal.
Sweet deal.
Full 8-foot table mat. Also, one more disclaimer before we get started. Just so that you guys don't think that we're completely oblivious to what's going on in the world around us with regards to Magic the Gathering. We know and partially read the release that was leaked from Wizards of the Coast.
No way!
But for the sake of those people that don't want to have that information yet, and I know there's a lot of people that don't want that spoiler information, they don't want to hear about it, don't want to see it, we're not going to do it. We're not going to cover it. Just know that if you want that information, it's available. Just go out there and search for it. There's other creators that are making content that is talking about that and the cards that were released and things like that. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we are not completely oblivious to what's going on around us. We're just not going to cover that information.
We'll wait till the pre-release.
Because we know that there are people out there that don't want that information yet, so we're kind of catering to them. And like I said, if you do want that information, there's plenty of other people that you can go get that from.
Yes.
So, all that being said, this week's random card deck tech is on the Rekindling Phoenix. As we've got here, we got our 4-card play set of them.
Oh my god, so pricey.
One of them's in a little pink sleeve for some reason. Whatever.
Thanks, slave.
So we're doing our brainstorming. We're going to try and come up with a good deck to build around this. Brian?
Yeah. Well, what you told them, or you had to go. You wanted to get all 4 because it's a good card, even if you don't use this deck. So you went all 4. But how did you end up with at least 3 of those? Can you?
Well, I got this
fun?
one during our pre-release, out of one of the packs in the pre-release.
That was before it was like major expensive.
Yep. It was still like
it was 15,
20 bucks. I got this one out of the box that we opened.
One of the 3 boxes we opened. Yes.
So someone might be able to pick this card up and take it from me.
Uh-oh.
If we get to our subscriber milestones.
I'm pretty sure it was box 3, so it's going to be a minute for that one.
So this one's available. And then this one, nope, this one I went and bought.
You know exactly which one it is.
Well, it's the one I just took out of the pink sleeve.
Yeah.
The pink sleeve's the one they gave to me when I bought it.
He bought the pink sleeve one.
So I bought this one. And then this one, I was in the midst of some negotiations with someone I knew that had one. And my wife brought over a couple packs I'd bought from Walmart. And I was like, I guess I should open them. And that was in one of those packs. So anyway.
Talk about heck of a draw.
So I'm kind of leaning like 3 different ways with this. I think one way to do it kind of cool would be like a, let's call it big red.
Big red. Going heavy on the red.
Yeah, big red creatures. Not necessarily all that big, but I had laid out like Itali Primal Storm. Might be a fun one to put in there. Something like On-Crop Crasher.
Yeah. Helps minimize their blockers.
And then
don't forget about old boy. What's his name? We just talked about him. I think we mentioned him the other day.
Oh boy.
4-drop. It's a 4-drop. Comes in with haste. You exert it.
Glorybringer.
Glorybringer.
5-drop. Yeah, he'd be a good one to put in here too.
Yeah.
So that's one way I was thinking. Another way I was thinking about going was maybe like a red-blue with some. What's the red-blue flyer that gets a? It's a X4. X is equal
Enigma
to them.
Drake.
Yeah, maybe
There's
an
another
Enigma
one, isn't there,
Drake.
for that one.
Maybe some other prowess type creatures.
You use a lot of other spells outside of those creatures.
Yeah, stuff like that. Or another way I thought about going was with like a red-black maybe. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of options.
I mean, you can do the blue and some other things to protect the token that comes from this.
And that's one, that's one thing I was really thinking.
You almost like the idea of them wasting it on the token, like forcing them to, because obviously you want to keep the token alive, but not necessarily, because you want that back on the field. That's the stronger one anyway.
Right.
So the biggest part of this is when that goes in the graveyard, that whole get rid of graveyard stuff that somebody will probably sideboard on you, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So you're going to have some counter spells for those get rid of stuff from the graveyard thing, or else this is a null and void card at that point.
Right. So we're gonna. I mean, it already by itself forces multiple forms of removal to be used to get rid of it permanently. But we could even make that more difficult by, if we went like red-blue, we could throw in some negates, some other counter stuff, so that if they try to kill it, we counter that, and then they have to do it again. That forces them to use, 2, 3, 4 types of removal to get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
Because a 4/3 recurring threat that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard to deal with.
And it gives it haste when it comes back, so it's not only just a 4/3, you're swinging with that right away. So
right.
That's always good.
Maybe we throw something like, if we went red-white, we could put the cartouche in there to give it a +1 and vigilance, so we can block and attack with it.
And my big red card choices that I usually have.
Is it vigilance? Does the white cartouche give you vigilance or first strike?
First strike. I don't think any of them give you vigilance.
Is there anything out there?
The Trial of Ambition, if you played it at turn, creatures you control would have vigilance. Not Ambition, I'm sorry. Not Ambition. Trial of Solidarity, which is the white one. That one comes in the field of play. All your creatures get vigilance till the turn.
For that turn.
Yeah, so that would be helpful.
Let's do a search here for
But it's expensive. But my other take is, you know how I am with reds. I'm pretty heavy. I use red cards when I've got creatures that can come through with a lot of power and attack and aggression. I'm usually throwing a Built to Smash for 1 drop on there, or Invigorated Rampage for 2. And it gives you trample. You're not always going to have your opponent's not always going to have a flying blocker. So obviously that's effective coming into play and having haste. You throw in a bigger rampage, now you have 8 in the air for next turn after they kill that. So that's pretty mean. That's why I put
Nature's
those
Way is pretty good. That's good removal and gives it vigilance and trample.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. If
Target
you go green.
creature you control gains vigilance and trample until end of turn, and it deals damage equal to its power to target creature.
Does it give it any counters, or is it just just gives it that ability? So yeah, I guess you can kill something.
So it's not even a fight, so you wouldn't have to worry about it dying. It just deals damage to something else.
A flying for something that would be a defense would be great. I mean, that's good, for.
Other than that, you're not getting vigilance.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there any creatures that you can tap to give other creatures vigilance? That's something that might be older. I don't know if.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm missing something.
Let me do a different search here. But what else?
But even said that,
which one of those ideas do you think you like the best?
It all depends on what color scheme you're going with, because you're looking at green or white. If you're doing the Trial of Solidarity, that's a white, and then, with the Nature's Way is green. So I mean, what's the color scheme that you're wanting to go through? I mean, if you want to go power, strength, then it's green all the way, because obviously that's going to bulk everything up.
Yeah.
Because you also have larger than life. That would be something you could put in there prior to the combat phase. Bam! Now it's an 8. So I mean,
if we go red, green, let's say.
And you've also got Blossoming Defense that can still protect.
There we go. That's what I was getting ready to ask. What kind of cards would we have to protect it?
Don't get me wrong, folks. I know we use Blossoming Defense in a lot of these decks we put together.
It's a good card.
It's a good card.
If you're in green, it's a good card.
If you're playing that type of color scheme.
We could also go with like Heroic Intervention, a few copies of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you got more than one, and obviously this may not be your only creature swinging at that turn, so that helps protect everything. Or when they're trying to kill it, because that's an instant as well, I believe. So
maybe we could use green to ramp into some of these sweet red creatures.
Yeah, I mean, I love On-Crop Crasher. He works great. You just gotta hope that. I mean, obviously that would be beneficial. You play him on that turn if you have enough mana. He goes out with Rekindling Phoenix coming back in, then you can stop their flyer blocker. And now you're really, pissing them off. So
right. So let's look at green-red standard cards that are going to help us ramp. What's the one dude? I think he's kind of high. Is it Neheb?
Neheb?
That adds your red mana?
Worley? Yeah, 6 drop. You deal.
He's a 6?
I think so.
All right.
He's in my folder.
So that's not really going to help us ramp at all.
No. Not a 6 of 5, but he's still up there.
What about enchantments? Those enchant lands?
Yes, I was just looking at those today. Surprisingly enough. There's a couple different ones in green and newer sets, I think.
Drop a couple Blood Suns in there to throw off our opponents. But if we do that and then try and enchant a land, it'll lose the ability, so we don't want that.
You got quite a few. You got. I mean, like I said, I used Gift of Strength today. It's just a common, 2-drop, but it's a +3/+3. It gives creature with reach. So,
Gift of Paradise.
Yeah, that's one of them.
3-drop. You gain 3 life, and then you can tap for 2.
There's one more. I think I just looked at New Horizons.
New Horizons,
yeah. That was the other one. That one gives you a 1/1 counter on target creature, so it doesn't necessarily have to go on a. Actually, it's the land it goes on, so that's helpful. Yeah.
And that one lets you tap for any 2.
And an unbridled growth as well.
Okay.
Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, but that's just to give you mana for another color, so that's not really that beneficial unless you need the red.
Shaper Sanctuary might be something to
Draw
throw
a
in
card
there
if they're targeted.
just to get some card draw, because you know
they're going to target the crap out of everything, especially the token.
I mean, you get Glorybringer. I mean, this is your ideal 4-5-6 turn, right there. Rekindling Phoenix, Glorybringer, Itali Primal Storm. That's a mess.
Yeah, and they will target stuff, but at what point does it make you will you need to get those extra draws? I mean, 6-drop here. I mean,
assuming
that
you
Glorybringer looks a little messed up.
It got peed on.
Sorry.
It's a cat piss incident.
It's still playable though. We're okay with it.
We don't need to talk about that. Sleeve them up. Let's go.
Let's go.
All my Rekindling Phoenix are pack fresh gem mint.
Stay away from the P card.
Yeah, don't get too close.
Don't get too close.
Anyway, that'd be a really good turn. If you're using some ramp, you could even maybe get that on turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, and those are going to get targeted for removal.
Oh yes, sure will. But like I said, that's great. I mean, I like it that you could draw a card once they get targeted, which helps. So
Sixth Sense, if we were going red-green, makes it so that whenever one of your creatures deals combat damage, you draw a card.
Yeah.
Um,
Should you get? I mean, I like it, but being that those are 6-drops and 5-drops, you're gonna. I don't know. You're gonna really need more cards. What are you looking for at that point when you've got those already out there? Like some of your protect cards, I guess. Protect creature cards that you don't have. I guess it's one way to always have options, so it still builds option. Go with those 2 as a possibility. With the.
Is there anything? What's the 3-drop dinosaur let you play an extra land every turn?
Wayward Swordtooth.
Yeah, I mean, throw those in there, drop a couple extra lands.
But, yeah, you really don't even need him, to be honest. I mean, you do, but not for the purpose of, the City's Blessing. Yeah, it's a 5/5 once it happens, but to be honest, if you get enough out there and you're getting an extra land, so yeah, that's always something. You'd have to go with 4 of that if you're going to do that for sure, because that's something you want to get early. You want to get that as soon as you get to turn 3, boom, get him out there, throw another land, go.
What about, I know competitively you don't really see a lot of the mana dorks being used, but this might be a situation where it's okay.
Mana dork or mana untap? there's some ones that I haven't got a chance to use yet, but there's some creature cards out there that untap target land and stuff.
I just read that. Yeah.
I haven't used them yet. I know they're out there. I've been looking at a deck I've been messing with, and I've thought about trying to use them.
Untap.
Target land. There's one that does 2.
One.
There's one that does 2 when it exerts. It does 2.
That's not it.
I was just looking at those 2, but I don't remember where they're at in my search.
Oh, I did not search in standard. That's why I was getting a bunch of weird stuff.
What the gold dummy? Red, green.
No.
Green's fine. It's green though. I know that.
Is it the Dune Diviner? Pay 1, tap and untap desert you control, gain a life. Nope. That's not it. Hope Tender?
That's it.
Yeah. Pay 1 and tap to untap a land. Pay 1 and exert to untap 2 lands. But you gotta use mana to do that, so
That's true.
I don't even know what the purpose would be of paying 1 to untap a land.
Is that the one that says exert and it does 2?
Yeah.
I didn't think I had to pay. Maybe that's why I wasn't paying attention to it. That's why I didn't use it. I didn't think it was a pay. But there is a...
Why would you do that? Maybe I guess it's a mana... No, it's not even a mana fixer. Because if you're... Yeah, I can't see any situation where that would be useful.
What does it say again?
Post a comment if you understand where that would become useful. You pay 1 and tap to untap a land. Maybe if you're using another source of mana other than your lands to pay that. Sorry. So you tap a land and then use something else, an artifact or something, to create 1 mana to then untap that land. But I don't... Whatever.
Blossom Dryad, 3-drop, untap target land. It's a 2/2. So if you got what you need, if that's something you're going to need for the gameplay to get another play out there,
But that's already a 3 drop.
Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, it does what it needs to, but based on what we need to.
I think the goal, if we're going this ramp route, should be to get this out on turn 3.
Yeah, that is weird to have to untap target land. I don't understand that.
So to do that, I feel like we're going to have to go with...
Initiate's Companion deals combat damage to a player, untap target creature or land. That was another one I was looking at for something, but...
a mana dork.
Which is normal green mana dork is oh boy, the comes in with 3 negative counters on him.
That's one, yeah.
Because what he does, and then there's always the ones from Aether Revolt, which is the one that always everybody uses. The other guy, push it. What is he? He is I forget.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're like, yep, I don't know about, yep.
Brazen Freebooter. Oh, if we could find one of those. Oh, that might not be a bad option. Like something like the Wily Goblin. Costs 2 to play. Comes in, it creates a artifact.
Yeah.
Or a treasure.
Treasure gets you more mana.
So if you do that on turn 2, then on turn 3 you've got another land and a treasure. That's dropping the Kindling Phoenix on turn 4 or 3. Now you can only use that once, opposed to a mana dork that you can tap consistently.
Yeah, but while they're trying to get rid of the Phoenix, you can hopefully draw into some more mana. But like I said, how much does that one cost to for the target creatures? You draw a card. How much does that cost to play?
1.
So that's a 1.
Shaper Sanctuary?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
a
that's
1
a
drop.
1 drop. So if that goes out there and you're still short of mana, but you got all that other play out there, then when they target that, you draw again. Hopefully you get another mana. So I guess that's not bad. I mean, hey.
Hey, since we're at it, I got a reply from Wizards of the Coast here. Break on our brainstorming. I asked them, I said we were wondering what we needed to do to get a card we could debut to the community, because that would be a really good opportunity for us. I don't know if you've seen them, but on other YouTube channels they will get special cards that Wizards of the Coast is letting those content creators debut during the preview season and things. So I got a reply. They said they would like for us to get in touch with the team at press@wizards.com. They should have more information. So we'll do that, and probably not this release, but maybe the next set we could get a card that we could debut. That'd be pretty sweet.
I like it.
Anyway, back to this. So we've got that option. Now let's refocus. We've got the kind of mana ramp and Shaper Sanctuary leading into this mess that we could go with if we're going to do red-green. What could we do with like a red-blue? Because I know red-blue we're probably going to lose most of that ramp option. Am I distracting you from something
I'm
else?
looking. No, I'm searching cards. I'm listening to you.
Red, blue, standard.
Are you trying to go back to blue, or do you like we're still just brainstorming options?
Yeah, just
we need
different
some
options.
green, so we're going blue. Well, I mean, you have there. It's because blue's got that control option in it. It's control mostly, so it lets you do a lot of different things. So I mean, you can do some copies of stuff to bring more things, or you can. I guess you can always play with. Oh, that's red. We'll talk about that. That's more red stuff, just because it's always fun.
What?
Wrangle and stuff like that, but.
Yeah. Yeah. If we went, that was the first option, just going straight red.
Yeah.
But if we go into the red blue.
All right, red blue.
Then we're gonna get into things like
Are you looking for spells or creatures for this?
both. You know, just kind of
brainstorming,
like I
whatever?
know if we go red blue, we're gonna throw in probably some negates and some other
Cancels, spell pierce, stuff
maybe
like
even
that.
maybe even censor. Probably not censored.
Well, are we doing heavy spells possibly outside of creatures? If we
think-
do, then you obviously know when you want to go brawl. Possibly put them in there. It cheapens your stuff, and then you can even go with the old primer amulet.
I like Baral a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, it's
Because if you go with Baral, a lot of those 3-cost counter spells are only 2, and then that gives you some more card draw too.
yeah.
So that might be an option. Protean Raider coming in as a copy of a Glorybringer would be good.
Oh yeah. And then you've always got Hostage Taker.
Well, that's black-blue.
Oh, I thought it was blue-red. Never mind.
Locust God's pretty cool.
The only thing I don't like about Baral,
He's
though,
at
I
the
guess,
6
is the
spot,
discard.
too, though.
I hate having to discard stuff if you don't have a means of getting it back out of the graveyard.
Yeah.
But it is a May if you choose to.
Yeah.
So it's an option. Alright.
Whirler Virtuoso is always good, but
Did you say anything about the Bloodwater entity?
I think that was the first one I mentioned.
Okay, I
You
can't remember.
I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I know I looked at it and read it. 2/2 flyer with prowess.
I mean, if you got both of them out there and you're able to get 2 or 3 creatures, 2 or 3 spells in play, and he's already out there, he's a 5/5, and then if you something you like, you put it back on the top of your library and you draw it the next time. So
Well,
that's,
he's not a 5/5. It's
He
prowess,
would be.
so he gets that when you cast those spells.
well, yeah, he'd be a 5/5 for that turn, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying, if you happen to have something. But I don't want to dig too far in. I mean, if you're wanting to stick with these guys as your base creatures, I mean, they're expensive, but it just depends. You may have need some smaller stuff to get to that point.
I think maybe like 4 copies of this, 3 copies of this, 2 copies of this, and then
Right.
build onto that
Okay.
with whatever color combination we end up with.
Okay.
If we're gonna go red-blue, I feel like Enigma Drake needs to be in there.
Yeah, if we're going to have a heavy amount of spells coming out of this deck, then yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to have him in there. You just got to make sure you got the spells, because I mean, Chrisman, whenever he played, he always had plenty. But let's see here. Well, I mean, there is always an option with the discard, but option for like, I guess creatures. If you had more creatures, you need to put creature in there for discard, because you can play the Eternalize or Embalm ones.
Yeah.
That this way, at least you know you can still use them as creatures down the road.
Right.
But then you're having to guess or hope that you get to that point with them. Well, there's always Cryptic Serpent if you're going to be heavy on sorceries and instants, just like Enigma Drake. He's cheaper and he's pretty effective. But if you want to limit your creature,
Well, it doesn't have to be just these.
well, no. I mean, we're sitting at what, 9 right now for what the total is, and if you go Enigma Drake 4, then you're at 13.
Enigma Drake's a 3-drop, isn't it?
No, I'm not
Yep.
to it yet.
Red, blue, and one other. And I think having that Enigma Drake out there as even just as an 0/4, 1/4, whatever,
Yeah.
is a good blocker on turn 3. And it will definitely grow when you get this other stuff out there, because this is going, I'm telling you, that combination of cards right there is going to be a super target for your opponent's removal spells.
Yeah.
I
mean, Warkite Marauder's always a good one. It's a flyer and it changes something.
That's a
that they-
2-drop?
I think so.
Yeah. Is he a 2-drop? Were you looking at it?
No, I haven't. I just get and remembered it. I'm not there. It's going to be a minute before I get to it. I'm just running through some of the cards that I see.
Yeah, he's a 2-drop flyer. Whenever he attacks, target creature defending player control loses all abilities and has base power and toughness 0/1.
It's pretty good.
So even
And it can
even
be a
late
target as
game,
well, yeah.
you know, that can help you get rid of some stuff. Because if he swings in at, Galta becomes an 0/1 and you target it with some removal spell, and
It's toast.
you can shock it for
Yeah.
one mana and kill it.
Get out of here, Galta.
So that might be a good option, drop in the Warkite Marauders. What's the 1-drop? Is it the Siren Storm Tamer?
Is it a 1-drop?
The 1-drop that you can then pay 1 and sacrifice it to counter a spell that targets you or a permanent you
It
control.
might be a 2-drop, but I know what you're talking about.
No, the one I'm talking about is a 1-drop.
Yeah, if that's the same card, then it is a 1-drop. If you pay 1 island and you, if it targets you or permanent you control, you can sack it and just counter it.
Right. That'd be a good one. So that when they target this bigger stuff, you can just say, and nah. Yeah, Siren Storm Tamer, flying 1/1, pay 1 and sacrifice it, and it counters target spell or ability that targets you or a creature you control.
Alright, and that's a what? A 1/1 or 1/2 flyer? A
1/1.
Flyers aren't going to do any good.
Well, it's good evasion at the beginning of the game, you know?
Yeah.
So you could put that out there early, and that's another thing that they have to get rid of that before they can get rid of the Rekindling Phoenix, and they have to get rid of that before they can get rid of the token. So that just adds on.
That's a good combo right there. Didn't think about that. Yeah, so I mean, especially if they've got a heavy counter or a control deck, then they're sitting there wasting all this stuff to get rid of that and some other things just so that you can't use this.
And the nice thing about this is even if they do like Vana's Hunger, target player sacrifices half their creatures, that's targeting you, so you can pay 1, sacrifice that, and that spell doesn't happen.
If you don't have it, and hopefully you have a cancel or something else in there. What else works pretty effectively? Obviously, you know, if it's a spell, then you know, negate is perfect.
I feel like with the creatures that we're running, you know, if we use these 3, Siren Storm Tamer, Warkite Marauder,
they're going to be focusing with spells that you can counter.
We should just not even worry about trying to counter creature spells. Let them have creatures, whatever. We've got ways to...
They're not going to be able to stop these for the most part with any of the other creatures they play, unless they have really big, heavy flying dinosaurs. Which, not saying they won't. I mean, they could play some other ones.
I mean, even... What's the stupid white dinosaur's name?
What, Zatalpa?
Swing with a Warkite Marauder and a Glorybringer.
Haste, gone.
Make it a 0/1. Exert it, do 4 damage.
Yeah, but you can't. It's indestructible still, though. That's the only thing with Zatalpa.
It loses all abilities and becomes a 0/1.
Forgot about the all abilities thing.
So it's a 0/1 that you then
kill.
It's
a 0/1 turd nugget. Yeah. So that I mean, okay.
I think that's a good combo.
So Warkite Marauder.
So our 1-drop would definitely have 4 copies of Siren Storm Tamer. And what if we did Bloodlust Insider as another 1-drop
for the haste
to give all these haste?
Yeah. Do you want to do? I always do this as an option. It wouldn't be all of them haste, but each one of them get haste. I like the Bloodlust Insider, but I also like the option of having an artifact, which would be a Strider Harness. It is a little more expensive to do that option, but they have to have artifact removal at this point, and you can swap it at any time. It's not, it can be used multiple times. I mean, so can the Bloodlust Insider, but he can also be killed.
How much does that cost to play?
I think it's 2 to play and then 1 to equip.
I think I like the Bloodlust Insider just because it's another 1-drop.
Yeah, for the...
Instead of taking up that 2-drop that we're going to put in the Warkite Marauder.
Yeah, it's a 3-drop.
What is?
Strider Harness.
Oh, it's a 3?
But it does give a +1/+1.
Yeah. I think we go Bloodlust Insider and Siren Storm Tamer at 1. Warkite Marauder at 2. We need probably another 2-drop maybe?
Creature?
Red or blue?
Well, what can we... Well, you've got the Enigma Drake, but that's a 3.
That's a 3.
Are you still wanting to work with that? So where are we at as far as... Well, I don't want to get into the... Just think about creatures, because we'll get to the final totals when we do the deck tech and you see where you're at. But
that'd be
just
4,
the generalities.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'd be 28 creatures. That's probably about it.
Yeah, but if you're using Enigma Drake, 28 creatures really limits the number of spells you're going to have in your opportunity for spells in your graveyard.
Yeah. So maybe we drop down. Let's try and get down to 20.
I mean, if you really think you're going to need the Enigma Drake compared to what you already got out there, I don't even know if you'd bother doing it. You're going to have that many creatures.
Well, okay, what's going to take that 3-drop spot then?
Do you have to have a 3-drop? I mean,
it's
I know the
good
way
too.
you build it, you like to build them that way. I haven't really paid attention to the mana curve.
It's good to hit your curve a little bit.
And that could be why my decks don't play as well, I guess, maybe.
It doesn't have to be...
I just don't see it. Or maybe that's just me. I don't understand how the curve makes a difference. Having to have
it depends
1,
on
2,
the kind
3,
of
4,
deck
5
you're playing.
in there.
Like, we don't necessarily have... We could have those 1-drop creatures. That'll be... Or hopefully every game we've got one of those that we can put out on turn 1. Turn 2, we drop in the either the Warkite Marauder or we've got some kind of spell that we can play to help us out, whether it's a
Well, do we have anything that's a spell play other than, you know, the instance that, I mean, yeah, shock would help, I guess, get rid of something or just take them damage, but yeah. Okay.
Because I guess the end game is going to be stay alive until we can get these out there. And once these are out there, then we're going to mess them up.
Yeah, I see. That's fine. We can go that route.
So
I mean, if you want to go heavy on creatures like that, just be mindful that your spells are going to be limited. Now, Nimiga Drake's still, what, 4 defense, so that's not bad. I mean, it's a blocker, and then he could possibly be stronger than that. But his defense doesn't go up. It's just his offense,
You
right?
got a marker or something?
Somewhere. I don't know where my code's at.
Alright, it's fine. Hold on. I'll just go in here. Talk for a minute while I get this thing added.
What am I talking
I
about?
don't know. Sing a song.
Well, I was just looking up, was this question in Enigma Drake only because, I mean, I know the defense is 4, and then
It's
you
an
get,
X4.
Yeah, X4, yeah, well, it says 04, does it say X4? I can't remember.
Well,
It's a star. It's a star 4.
Yeah.
So you only get its power is equal to the number of instant sorceries. So you're still only going to be a 4 defense, but you are going to be a flying attack. So I guess that's beneficial. You just want to make sure that you're not like sitting at like 8 spells, 8 instant sorcery spells in a deck of 60. I mean the chances of you getting to use him for what he's worth is very limited if you do that. So that's why I was like, I don't know if we should put him in there. But if there's something else, a different 3-drop we can go with, I would do that, I guess. But for the instance and sorcery spells, I mean, I don't know if you're wanting to do something as simple as shock or lightning strike. I guess that's what's the intent of the deck. It's designed based around for protecting you until you can get to this stronghold. Is that the intent that we're going with?
What about
Or just lightning strikes and stuff to damage the opponent, so that when we get to this point, they're already down. You know. What about them? What? Come on. Come on!
the 1-drop you put on a creature whenever it deals damage to your opponent, you draw a card?
Whenever it does damage to an opponent, you draw a card.
It's in my unblockable Merfolk deck.
Oh shoot! Why can't I remember that one?
Curious Obsession.
Oh yeah, because you were talking about that. Yeah.
Enchant that gives it a +1, so you put that on your Siren Storm Tamer or something.
And they don't have flying to block, or they don't have anything.
It'll have flying. It's
Yeah,
going to
it's
deal
2/2.
damage, let you draw some extra cards.
It does, maybe for the first round or two, but like being only a 2/2, it's so easy to clear that off the board.
That's true.
I love flying cards that have options, but if you can't protect it or keep it with better defense, it's a shock here, shock there, or deal 1 damage, whatever, done and over with. But I do like the idea of the draw.
Do you think that the On-Crop Crasher is a better 3-drop than the
Enigma Drake?
yeah.
Possibly. I mean, it just depends. Like, you get him out early, you can swing early. Maybe hit him for 3. After that, you're waiting. Because usually you won't get that second shot before they kill it. Possibly. I mean, I'm just going on experience. Having used him in decks before.
Well, I mean, if that's going to be another heavy target
and
for
that's
removal,
fine. Waste that, and then
right.
Yeah.
Get them to get rid of this. If you've already got your Siren Storm Tamer out there,
and you'll have that because if they don't have many creatures to protect while you're swinging away, they're going to shoot those down because now I've exerted here, and even if they don't have creatures, you swing for 3 right off the bat. So
yeah,
I mean we can do that, and then now you just go to spells if you want to sit with your general protect spells.
Let me look at. Let's try and go maybe 23 creatures, 25 lands. That puts us needing. Let's do 24 lands.
Are you wanting to just, when we go to spells with this setup of creatures, do you want to just do simple protect spells and control type spells from blue?
Yeah.
Leave all red, mostly creature based, except for the few. All right. I'm asking because I'm going to do just my quick search and see what.
Don't you think? Don't you think that's a fair or a safe way to?
I think so. I just wanted to make sure that's what you were thinking about doing.
I mean, that gives us these fun creatures in red. So if we go On-Crop Crasher, add that. We go Rekindling Phoenix, add that. We go Glorybringer, add that. And we go with a couple copies of Italia.
There is always this option too, if
got?
we're swinging. Chart a course.
What's that do?
2 drop. It says draw 2 cards and discard a card unless you attack with a creature this turn. So if you're wanting to get through them cards or help to that draw portion, if you're swinging with him on haste and you have enough, or which wouldn't be haste, but if you swung with him and that's all you need to do is attack, you get to draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
So that's a spell option for something that would be useful.
Alright, so let me look at our creature base here. Let's say we do 3 each of the 1-drops. 3 Bloodlust Insider, 3 Siren Storm Tamer. Do 3 Warkite Marauders and 3 Uncrupt Crashers. That gives us 3 1-drop, or 6 1-drops, 6 2-drops. Nope, 3 2-drops. 3 3-drops. Let's maybe make each of those 4. So that puts us at 14 creatures. 4 Rekindling Phoenix, 3 Glorybringer, and 2 Italy. What did I miss?
I don't know.
That puts us at 23 creatures, which is probably okay.
Yeah, I would say it's a decent amount. So you're sitting there yourself for 13 spell cards
with 24 lands.
Yeah, if you wanted to stick with that scenario.
So what are the lands? Let's go ahead and just get the land.
Red, blue, obviously. So Highland, is it Highland?
Highland Lake.
Highland Lake, and then what's the...
Spire Bluff Canal.
Ugh. If you want to buy them.
I've already got them.
Oh yeah, you do have them. I don't. I sold one of mine way on. I can't even speak right. Way on back a time or two.
Spire.
Still can't even say it.
And
way
Highland
on back when I didn't want to keep
Lake.
cards, I was trying to trade stuff in for other ones. I should have held on to it. I think I only got like $5 off out of it. It's like $12 now.
Alright, so we do 4 of each of the duels. And then what's that put us at? 8 of each of the others? Is that right?
Is that a good even swap?
That's
Is there enough blue to do 8 and 8, or should you get your...
Well, all of our creatures, most of our creatures are 2 reds and another.
So you're going to need a lot more reds, I think. I mean, I know you've got split,
but then you've got we've got our blue spells. Let's figure out what they're going to be. Because that puts us at 47 cards, so 13 counter-type spells is what we're looking at. So yeah, we're still going to need way more red. So maybe drop this down.
6 and 10.
I like
6 blue, 10 red, and then the 4/4 of the 2-color. I mean, I hate not drawing enough blues, but I mean, you're still gonna have, what is that, 12 options for blue?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be there.
So then if we search for counter, target, blue, in standard, there's Admiral's Order.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I was gonna say something. I haven't got to it yet. I like that one, but that one, because they have to, you pay 1 instead of, but that you have to attack, right? Is that what it says?
Yeah, it costs you can pay 1 blue instead of the normal 3 to counter a spell if you attack with a creature.
So technically, you have that's pretty much during instant phase, during instant situation. So like if you're swinging with your Rekindling Phoenix, like I'm gonna play this in the middle. So then you say, okay, well I swung, so now it costs me 1 as a counter. So yeah, it works. It's an excellent card. I mean, you can counter obviously on their turn for a more pricey. So that keeps your during combat phase, protected.
I like Censor, but
you have to pay 1 more than you do. Isn't that what I was looking at?
Censor is a 2-drop, but it only counters a spell unless its controller pays 1.
That's the same thing as Spell Pierce. And Spell Pierce a 1-drop, right?
Is that?
Pretty sure.
But this one also has
cycling.
You can cycle for 1.
Did you want to think about doing my all-time favorite, Dive Down, for protective purposes, or do you?
Yeah, I mean that's a good one.
I mean, I always use it all the time, but it's cheap and it gets what you need out of it.
Yeah, that's just as good as a counterspell.
So do you want to go with a negate?
Spell pierces unless its controller pays 2. So spell pierce might not be bad because if you get this out on turn 2, they can't shock it. They could shock it twice, but then if they've got they've got their turn 4. What am I talking about?
I don't know. Hold on.
So.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Shock costs 1, no big deal.
Shock they could do. They could double shock this to kill it, but then to kill that token, they'd have to use something else. And you could counter that spell. Or you could counter one of the shocks and make them use that other 2 to kill this, and then that makes it so that they can't get rid of that token that turn.
Yeah. Or, I mean, is this if you had 1 or 2 spell pierces? Or, I mean, on the stack, if you did dive down, could they still use something after the fact if your dive down was on there on the stack?
If your dive down's on the stack, they can put something on it, yes.
Even if it's hex-proofed? I always forget how that works. But
yeah.
Either way, those are simple 1-drops that will take away a lot of what they're trying to do. And if they're going to waste that many spells on Rekindling Phoenix early on, because you've got 1 in your hand, that's fine. You might as well just let them roll with it.
So if we run 4 of each of those...
4 spell pierce and 4 negates, or in fact 4 dive downs?
4 negate, 4 dive down, 4 spell pierce.
There's 12.
We'd need 1 more. Or we could run...
Another creature.
3, 3, 3. Yeah, we could put in another creature. We could put in another spell, do 3 dive down, 3. I think 4 is good, though, in those spells.
Yeah, and they're all cheap. That's what I would do.
I think they're the best of the best.
Is there nothing else you want to put in there, enchantment-wise? I mean... They're all mostly flying. The only other one I like is like Cartouche of Knowledge because you can draw.
I don't think we need it.
Yeah, you
I
probably
think
don't.
Once we get to 3, 4, 5 mana, these creatures are gonna handle the situation enough that you don't need an extra
creature base and the spell base is what we're doing. We weren't going to try to get to. I mean, because we talked about doing the draw stuff that would allow you to draw cards. We're just going to skip over that because that option was there and now it's done and gone.
Unless.
So how many of these did we have? We had 23 creatures. So
I mean, we could drop maybe a couple spell pierce, do 2 spell pierce, 4 negate and 4 dive down, and then put in 3 of those. What the heck was the card I just talked about? Curious Obsession.
Curious Obsession.
You slap that on a Crop Crasher or even on your Siren Storm Tamer, and you're drawing some extra cards that way. And if you get that on one of these bigger creatures.
Yeah.
And that's.
I mean, either that or the Chart of Course. They're both the same.
Chart of Course is draw 2.
Draw 2 unless you
discard if you
didn't attack the creature.
How much does that cost?
2.
It's a 2-drop.
And that's 2. Isn't that Curious Obsession a 2-drop?
No, it's a 1.
No, I thought it was a 2.
It's a 1 blue. And this, I think, most of the time.
That gives them a counter too, though, right?
Yeah, it gives it +1.
All right, that's fine.
So
we can do that.
Do you like that better than the red-green we were looking at?
Well, I can't even remember what we were talking about. I mean, I do, but
with like a few ramp spells, and
that's just another option, I guess. Not option like is to change the whole thing, but it just for them, for the viewers, like what we're talking about. Maybe they decide they want to do the red-green, and they can hear what we're saying. Like, you know what, I want to do that instead. So we just stick with what we got here. If you want to do the red-blue, and roll with it that way, do some tests on it this week and see how it turns out, and then if you want to go back and look at what we talked about in the video and do a other half with the green and see. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean,
if that's a good point. Just talking through this some might help somebody else. Do you want to go ahead and talk through like a big red type build?
All red. So we've done red green and red blue. So I mean, this is going to be one of our longer brainstorming videos, but that's okay. We can
just mono red.
So we just mono red. Like I said, if you got this creature base at 23 already, you're subtracting the 2 blue creatures, so now you're down 6 creatures. I think is where we were sitting at. I don't know what you had set up, but other creatures you could put in there. Red, that's pretty useful. Oh, damn, why am I brain farting here? I guess because we were stuck on these other colors for a minute. But still, either way, go moving some more spells. If you're dropping all those protect blue spells, now your power red or power aggression red is, like I said, built to smash and then invigorated rampage. And that gives you an option to give a +2 +0 to 2 creatures instead of just the 1 if you want to do it twice, you know, and that gives them trample. I mean, these are big ones by themselves, but also if they don't have a flyer to block that, then that's what it is. they're going to get hit in the face anyway. So those are my pump choices for this type of stuff. And you've got enchantments that are good pumps, like you got.
I think trading a Glory Bringer for a Zatalpa is a good trade, right?
But that's white.
I know. No, I'm saying, like, if you were in combat and you exert this, do 4 damage to their Zatalpa, then they have the option of either, oh, it's indestructible.
Yeah,
I always forget.
The only thing that's going to change that's the Warkite Marauder, unless you exile it.
Okay, so if we were going to do straight red, do we still like the Bloodlust Insider? I guess some of this has haste already, but given these two, especially this one, given this haste, can be nasty.
Yeah. I mean, how many dinosaurs? We just have the one, so I guess using Otepec is not really worth it because it's just him. I was just thinking of the haste option again.
Yeah. I like where your head's at.
But since his dinosaur's not going to do a whole lot.
Oh, we moved our cards around so that they were able to see the.
You did that right off the bat. We were trying to trick everybody, but hey, it is what it is.
I don't know. I think I've got some kind of love affair with the Bloodlust Insider.
I think you do too. It's a great card if it really works out to what you're trying to get it to work out for. Sometimes it doesn't though, so it's like.
Yeah.
And we're still looking for creatures. Like we got our basic creature base, but we got to fill some voids here. Man, there's a lot of freaking creatures in red.
What are the best creatures in red?
Yeah, that's a fun one. It's expensive if you can find a way to get it out quicker, which I don't think if you can, 'cause there's not a lot of it. But the Engrass Marauder is always fun. I still have yet to use it for what it's worth. I hope we don't. I almost hope we don't draw that on our random.
That's the one that doubles all your damage.
Sorcery you control would deal damage to a permanent or player. It deals double that damage to a permanent player. But does that still apply for spells? Because it's something you control, right? Or spells not count. So like if you do Lightning Strike, does it give them 6 instead of 3?
Yeah. If a source you control would deal damage. That's a 7-drop.
Yeah, I know. Super expensive.
That'd go in after a Tali.
Yeah, back here on this end.
Just one copy.
But I just like it because it's like, man, that could really mess up someone's day. But how do you get a 7-drop out there to use in a game that could be freaking fast? You wouldn't be able to. You'd have to have a team game to where you can hang out long enough and use it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess you've always got some of those dinosaurs that you could put in there, like that have the enrage ability. So if it's dealt damage, you deal damage to target creature or target opponent instead.
Yeah.
That's just something.
What about Ball Lightning?
Where's that one at? Isn't that old?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. You said ball. I'm pretty sure that's not standard.
Captain Lannery Storm. Would be good to help ramp into some of this stuff.
What about Ball Lightning?
That wasn't funny. Yeah, Lannery Storm, whenever she attacks, she's got haste
already. You have to have
already.
treasures, though.
No, she gets a treasure every time she attacks.
I thought it was just when she came in. Okay, fair enough. So haste with her, and then you get a token, and then you get the +1/+0. I don't know. It seems like there's a bit. I don't want to go with that one. I don't want to go with that one.
All right.
I mean, you're the one that's just.
No, that card's stupid.
I think it works.
And so are you idiot.
I think it's going to have a better effect if it's got the more of the pirate bases to work with. Trample haste. There's a charging Monstrosaur, which I don't think any of us have ever used.
E-Step uses it all the time.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. You know why? Because every time he plays on my team, I never see it on the field. The only time it's ever on the field is it's against me and it's upside down, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just know it's a 5/5, that's all. E-Step uses it all the time, idiot.
Dipshit.
Don't you pay attention to game lunch magic?
How much does... That's another 5-drop, though, right?
Yeah.
So get out of the 5-drop.
I'm sorry! I'm just skipping through here because I don't really know what other way to look unless we, there is the Desert Ceradon 6-drop, but it's a cycle card.
No 6 drops. 3 or lower is what we're looking for.
I'm so sorry.
That's
Dire Fleet Daredevil. I mean, that's a good sideboard card. I think if you know they're playing a lot of spells, you put that in there because now you can steal their stuff.
Right. Is that got flash?
First strike. Man, there's a battlefield now. I wish it did a flat. That'd be cool.
Well, let's go in here and narrow this down by creature.
Mine's narrowed, but there's a lot of creatures in standard red.
Red, converted mana cost up to 3.
I guess I should do that. That would probably save me some time.
Format
I forgot about
standard.
that option. There, I'm an idiot.
So,
Don't make fun of me.
Ether Chaser, Ether Torch Renegade, Uncrop Crashers. I like him. I mean, if we're going to kind of go... I guess this, if we were doing this, it would kind of be like your red aggro deck, only instead of getting up into like Chandra and Hazaret, we're replacing those kind of with Phoenix and Primal Storm and Glorybringer. But the main cards at the start of the game are going to be similar, you know.
There's always a combat celebrant.
Blood Rage
Ooh.
Brawler's a 2-drop 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, you discard a card.
Yeah, that's the yeah, that one's always a fun one. Did you not hear me on combat celebrant?
Yeah.
It's ignoring me.
No, I did. Whatever.
It's a heavy target. I mean, with these nasty guys out here, you put a combat celebrant out there, they're going to pay attention to killing that. I mean, I know they want to get some of this other stuff, but if you, unless they can kill all those other than him, you swing and you got some of this stuff sitting out here, and they don't kill him, that's swinging again.
Yeah.
And that's a pain in the butt. But I don't know. It's just something.
Earthshaker Kenra is one everybody plays. I don't like it.
Frilled Death Spitter is the 2 damage one, 3-drop. Target opponent. Frontline Rebel, 3/3.
Flameblade Adept.
Attacks every turn if able.
No, that's a cycle type.
Headstrong Brute, 3/3, can't block. I don't know. Headstrong has menace as long as you control another pirate. There's not enough pirates, so screw that guy.
Harsh Mentor
Scram!
can kind of punish people for activating abilities of their cards.
Yeah.
It's only a 2-drop. Carry Zev. Everybody loves Carry Zev.
Nest Robber, another haste, 2-drop.
We don't have enough pirates really to play the Lightning Rig crew.
Yeah, that's always a stupid fun card.
Pioneer. Create a Thopter. Make Thopters bigger.
Raptor Hatchling, 2-drop.
What about Rampaging Ferocidon?
That's been banned.
Ah, just testing you. Did you say Raptor Hatchling?
Hey, we should have played it off like, yeah, that's a great one. Let's put that in there. And then like, they're like, we're just kidding, you know.
Yes.
Somebody would be like, these idiots are.
Did you say Raptor Hatchling?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad one.
Yeah, it's a 2-drop though. But yeah, if you get dealt damage, you get a 3/3 back with Tramp Ale.
Yeah.
So where are we at on our creatures? I mean, we're still hunting. What are we
know.
trying to add in? We have. This is what we're going with so far. We got the 4, 3, 3, and 3, right? So that's where we're sitting. And then Bloodlust, you wanted 4 him?
Bloodlust Insider, I
4.
did 3 in the last deck, but
So
if we were doing
red.
an all red deck, we'd probably go with
4 of all these. Are we just gonna up the ante?
Or
and
what's
just make it simple?
What's the one, dude? It's one of the new goblins. Costs 1. I think if we're doing solid red, that Wily Goblin makes a lot more sense.
Does it though? I mean, I guess it gets you another mana, but that's usually used for color, for any color.
I know, but it makes the 2 reds.
There is something we
Because the
could
cost
do.
is
So
too
if we're
red.
doing red spells, are we going to do pump spells or kill spells, destroy spells? Like you want to kill stuff with them. I know we're still thinking about creatures, but the reason why I ask is because if we're going like with kill spells, and then you can do the Soul Scar Mage, so Source you deal will be counters instead.
Yeah,
that would really
help
piss
with
the people.
Glorybringer too.
Yeah, I mean that would be excellent for Zatalpa because if that's out there, it deals 4 damage, right?
Yeah.
-8, and that kills it indestructible.
It gets -8?
Yeah, no, it doesn't get it. Well, why was I thinking twice? Well, you could do it twice. You could do it once or twice, but it would still minimize as Zatalpa. So it -1 counters. So damage 4 to Zatalpa. Now it's a 0/4.
Yeah, we can throw that in there. Soul Scar Mage and Bloodlust Insider will be our 1-drops.
1-drops.
2-drops.
I know we're working so hard on Zatalpa, but that's one of the creatures right now that's really hard to get rid of. Plus,
Yeah.
works well with any of the other god cards that they're using. Not all of them, but most of those indestructible god cards, if that happens to come into play. That's beneficial. I mean, that's just the way I would look at it.
This is one that I've always liked, but never really built a red deck that we could add this in. But this might not be a bad one. Tillanolli Summoner. It's a 2-drop 1/1. Whenever it attacks, you can pay a red and X. If you do, create that many 1/1 red elemental creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. And then if you have the City's Blessing, you get to keep those tokens. If you don't, you exile the tokens at the beginning of the turn, or end of the turn.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good 2-drop. I mean, if you're wanting to build a creature-heavy, base, we've already got a decent set of creatures and another spell to add.
I mean, that just that feels like it's another one of those cards where they have to get rid of that, because if they don't, it's going to get out of hand.
Oh yeah.
Because you can only handle so many 1/1 red elemental creature tokens before it's too late.
It's a 2-drop, so instead of having a 3-drop, you can put another 1-drop in with the Soulscar Mage and Tillanolli Summoner, and now you got your 3-drop combo. This is the way I look at it.
Yeah. So you do.
Are you keeping Wily Goblin, or you want to leave him?
No, I think you use the or do 6 1-drops with the Bloodlust Insider and the other one. What was the other one? You just
Soulscar Mage.
Soulscar Mage. 2 drops have the Wily Goblin and the Tillanolli Summoner. 3 drops go with the Uncrop Crasher, and we'll probably need another 3-drop.
Did we come up with something? Thought we maybe had something.
Or maybe just run 4 of these.
We can do that.
And leave ourselves maybe an opening for spells if we need them.
And then 4-drop, 5-drop,
4,
6
5,
drop.
6.
That's a huge swerve curve. What else have we done for spell-wise? Have we done there?
Well, let me look at this other deck so I can know.
I mean, because that Soulscar Mage...
Creature-wise, I think we've got the same curve. No, we added a creature in this red deck.
I might be barking up the wrong tree with that Soulscar Mage.
What do you mean?
It's a source. Does that count as a source when it deals damage?
It does.
It's non-combat damage?
This is non-combat because it's this card's doing it. Combat damage is only the damage that happens at the end of the combat phase.
I just want to make sure we weren't thinking something and we were like completely wrong.
But then, like if we do...
So where are we at on creatures if we're doing spells? The spells is great, but now we're going to have to not do pumps. Pump spells are going to be out if we're going to use Soulscar Mage for what it's worth.
Right.
Because you're only going to get this as a combo.
That put us at 26 creatures, so that leaves us 10 spells. We just make all those burn spells,
Lightning, 2-drop, and you want to just do shock and lightning. Is it bolt? Is it lightning bolt? No, it's lightning strike.
A braid. Is a braid better than lightning?
It gives you 3
strike?
damage or destroy artifacts. So
I think that's better.
Gives you 2. I mean, is it 2-drop? It's 2-drop, isn't it? Or is it 3?
I can't remember.
Do you think we play this game enough? We'd remember what the fuck happened.
Play Magic.
Hey, dude, play Magic.
Yeah, it's a 2-drop. So that's our
lightning strike's the same.
That's one of them. Because, well, then we want a braid because you get the option to destroy an artifact.
Yeah, 3 damage to a creature, which Soulscar Mage would be negative counters and just minimize their strength, or kill it, one of the two, and then destroy target artifact. Which
but lightning strike gives you the option to go straight to the face, right?
Yeah,
it's creature or player.
Yeah, so that is the option. So you can hit them for 3. I think with what we got here, we may not need to go straight to the face. That's a lot of damage that's going to find its way through, I think.
That's true, because they're not blocking with these.
We got flyers.
These are flying.
He's not, but still, it's an effective card. The only thing that would change this effectiveness for me would be that Invigorate Rampage, because you put 4 on this bad boy, that's 10-6 with trample. That's so shitty. But it all depends. And I only like that card because if it's overwhelming, slap to the face. Because anybody could say, "I'll chump your 6/6."
Well, if
everybody hates that.
If we've got room for 10 more spells, maybe we do 3 a braid, 3 repeating barrage, and 3.
What's repeating barrage?
It's the one that you can play back from the graveyard, or you can return from the graveyard. It's a 3-drop, does 3 damage to target creature or player, and then every time you attack, you can pay 5 to put it back in your hand. That might be better more in limited than it is in standard format. What is?
So we said we'd do a braid, Then we do 3 of each, right? So we're sitting at 10. Is that what you said? So or 3, 3, and 4 on one.
Hold on. We're going red. Standard. I'll get all of our burn spells up here. There's a braid. Probably want to go instant speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to wait for our turn. So if we're going red or instants that do damage, Blur of Blades is another -1/-1 counter one.
That wouldn't really. I mean, it works, but yeah. So.
Bombard is a 3-drop, deals 4 damage to target creature. Chandra's Defeat is 5 damage to target red creature or planeswalker. That's more like a sideboard card, I think. Dual Shot is 1 damage to each of 2 target creatures. Electrify is 4 damage to a creature for 4. I think we need to figure out what the most effective.
There's always the fling option too.
I was just looking at fling.
6/6.
You hit them for 6, or if you hit them for any combination of like these or those.
If we had fling and invigorated rampage,
then that's a kill.
That's a game over.
That's done. Maybe
that's
magma
something...
spray to help deal with some of those. Help me out. Indestructibles.
Does that deal count? Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff. Magma spray is just deal damage creature if that creature would die. Yeah, so it's a deal -2 counters. I mean anything applies for that matter because.
Well, but your god cards and stuff that are going to go back into your hand, or things that can come back from the graveyard, just magma spray them to death. Maybe just a couple copies of that. We don't have any other artifacts, so Welding Sparks doesn't really make any sense. Unfriendly Fire is 4 damage for 5. That's not effective.
Yeah, magma spray would work because you wouldn't even have to use all of them. I mean, if you had what's a scorpion or like a scarab god? I heard a scorpion god. What's scarab god again? Is it a 5/6 or 6/5?
I think it's a 5/5.
5/5. So like, if he decides to block any one of these or finds a way to block any one of these smaller creatures, like even if he's blocking that,
yeah, you magma spray it and it's exiled.
Yeah, because he's taking 3 damage. So, I mean, yeah, that's always something we can do.
Throw in a couple magma sprays, maybe 3 magma spray, 3 a braid, and 4 something else.
Are you not going to try the power bomb invigorated rampage, or you didn't want to keep destroying? I mean, I maybe the invigorated rampage, depending on who you're playing, might be a sideboard option if you're doing all red, just because you have to overcome some other.
I mean, it's good. It's good. It gives trample too.
Yeah.
So if we went.
I mean, the only tramples we really have to pay attention to is this, which I would use.
We've got 10 spells. So if we did 2 invigorated rampage, 4 braid, and 4 magma spray.
That's fine. We can go with that. I mean, that's for the red option. So yeah, we can just leave it at that. But there's still room for adjustments after we put them together. I mean, I don't expect you to try to play all 3, but for
no, I'm gonna make one of these. I'm just trying to run through which one of these 3 ideas that we've done so far do you like the best?
I don't know. I'm partial to the all red one, but I like the blue, red, and I don't know. I mean, I think we focused a little bit more. I mean, we focused a little more on this one because we had to search more, but I think we kind of got a better spread of cards on the blue-red. I think that's what I think we did. So that's what I would probably shoot for, just to run that one and then do the deck tech on that after you've tried it out a few times and done some adjustments.
Well, I'll put one of these decks together tonight and test it out tomorrow. And if it just seems like it sucks or things aren't working out the way they are, we can go back and maybe try a different one. Because we're not doing the deck tech for 2 days, so 3 days.
Yeah, you got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to play it out a couple times and do some adjustments if you need to.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So there's some ideas. We always ask, if you've got ideas that you'd like to see included in this deck, remember, this is what we're building around, not this other stuff. So the only thing that's required of this deck is the Rekindling Phoenix. But this is just kind of the ideas that we've come up with. Let us know what you would do, what kind of things we missed maybe, and we'll probably post something maybe tomorrow or the day after of some testing that includes one of these decks or one form of these decks or something. So let us know what you think.
Yep.
We appreciate everybody's support. Continue to
73.
73 subscribers as of the recording. So we're just over 25 off of our first
goal.
giveaway
Yep.
at 100 subscribers. So share with your friends. Let's get the word out, and hopefully
Somebody can take one of these home.
somebody's going to get one of those. I guarantee you they
Yeah.
will take that card.
I'm pretty sure it's the second box that you opened, but that's okay. But we're going to get there, so it's going to happen.
All right, we good?
I think we're good. That was a very lengthy video, but very informative.
Deuces.
Deuces.